This is Daddy Show. Step off.
It's time for the main event.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this right here is the one and only Tom Clark's Main Event. What's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Good to see you. Happy Friday to you. How am I looking? How's the hair? Am I on point today? I'm just glad I still got some. That's all I can tell you. See all this? I continue to be disgusted by the Grays. The Grays and I have nothing to say to each other. You want to know why? Because, I'm doing a hand gesture. I'm not going to do it on camera. Right? I'm sick of them, right? I mean, I'm still devastatingly handsome, let's be honest. But this is going to have to go, man. Look at it. I can't with it. But I will say it's doing this weird thing where like the dark is cutting off, almost like it's intentionally dyed that way. I assure you it's not. I don't have like a Hollywood Hogan thing going. Does anyone remember those days when he was spray painting the beard? The 5 o'clock shadow. He was. You want to know how you know? Because as he sweat, it dripped like Rudy Giuliani. Don't get me started on that clown. Spray. I think it's the same crap they use to spray the belt to spray the dudes on the mat. Whatever. What's up, kids? Tom Clark here back with you again. Let's get the ticker ticking. You are tuned in live and living color to the one and only Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode 331. We are 31 weeks removed from the 300th anniversary celebration of this here little podcast, going live since 2014. Baby, we're in season 10, year 9. Couldn't be happier. We hope you have enjoyed the ride. If you are listening after the fact, do not forget, this sucker is available live and in living color in video form on the Facebook on Fridays, most of the time at 4 p.m. However, beginning next week and the week after, we're going to start adjusting times. There's a reason for that. Your boy got himself a new position that is not remote, which means I'm going to have to get in my car and drive to a location. I'm going to drive to an office 5 days a week, so I'm going to have to start looking at podcasting times. I will keep everyone abreast of this and keep you updated as to when we're going to start recording and going live and all that stuff. I'm having to have conversations behind the scenes with co-hosts and whatnot. You want to know how you can stay up to date? BoinkStudios.com. Say it with me. BoinkStudios.com. B-O-I-N-K, BoinkStudios.com. On that website, you will find links to Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. If you are following all three shows, thank you very much. We do very much appreciate your business. If you're not following, you're missing out. Main Event's fun. It's all pro wrestling all the time. The 6M podcast is movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. And anything else we can throw in there at one time. I promise you it's a good show. It's a fun show. And Two Nations Under Ted, it's self-explanatory, kids. If you're a Ted Lasso fan, you're going to love this show. New episodes of Ted Lasso every Saturday. Main Events most of the time on Fridays. New episodes of the 6M on Tuesdays. There you go. What more can you ask for? We got a special guest in the house today. Buckle up and hold on. We're going to get to it in just a second. Let's say a few quick hellos, and we'll bring this person on stage. Guten Tag, Sandy in Germany. Good to see you. E's back in the house. My Thanksgiving was great, Ray. Hope yours was as well. Ray All Day is here. Sugar Shane's in the house. Will, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Josh, happy Friday to you, sir, as well. Sandy's already talking about, we'll get there. Trust me. Robbie, how are you, my friend? I suspect our guest has brought some of their audience with them. That's good. You want to know why? The more the merrier, baby. We takes all we can get here, okay? If you guys want to talk about wrestling, let me tell you something. If you appreciate level-headed podcasting, see that head couldn't be more level. I'm just saying, all right? Level-headed podcasting. We don't bash anyone. We don't criticize anyone. We don't rip anyone in half. You want to know why? Because that is grade school, schoolyard nonsense. Schoolyard nonsense. That's it. We don't do that crap here. We don't throw shade. We might throw a little bit of shade. It might be that much. But it's never ill-willed, okay? We like to have fun here. We like to call it right down the middle. We like to give opposing viewpoints, give different viewpoints. And we don't speak in absolutes here on this show. Everybody knows how we roll, right? That's just how it is. Because we had stuff happen this week that everybody said this will never happen again, including me. And guess what? I was wrong. A lot of us were wrong. We got a lot to get into here today. Again, thanks for tuning in. Tom Clark here with you, also known as Oh Captain, My Captain. You can call me lots of things. You can call me Tom, or you can call me Oh Captain, My Captain. I've been called. With me today, you know her from the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. You will also now know her from Boink Studio stuff, because we're going to invite her to be on more than just this little show here today. Everybody, please welcome to the stage and to the show, Miss Faye Devine. Faye, how are you? Thanks for tuning in and joining us here today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm good. It's Friday and I don't have to work at the weekends, so that's all good.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, what more can you ask for? I've been wanting to have you on for a while, but it's like we just couldn't get it. We had to be sure the time was right and get you on when we could and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm glad you're finally here. You've been watching most Fridays for a while, I think. So that's pretty cool too. So yeah, I do appreciate you being here. Yeah. Kids, by the way, Faye, these are the kids. Everybody, please make Faye feel welcome and say hello to her. Very much appreciate it.
Hey,
Faye, before we get cranking here today, tell everybody where you are. We'll do this again at the end of the show. Tell them how they can find you.
Oh, so you can find me. I do the weekly podcast with the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. I'm based in Liverpool, the same as Jay, who's been on here quite a few times. But yeah, catch us on Untitled Wrestling Podcast on Twitter and Discord and Twitch.
Nice.
Instagram.
Nice. Yeah,
we'll get those handles for the end of the stream.
Oh, that works. Yeah, because I know your guys are like it's tweaked. It's tweaked in one or two places. So yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Character limits.
yeah. They're a killer sometimes. Twitter will cut you off, man.
Yeah, well.
Or X, whatever we're calling it. So everybody, we got some people saying hello. Ray is a massive Adam Cole fan, in case you didn't know.
I love Adam Cole. I got to meet him this year, which was nice. He was really lovely.
He's so little. I met him. I'm 6'3", so I dwarfed Adam Cole. Heck of a nice guy, though. Heck of a nice guy.
I don't know what it's like to be dwarfed by people because I am 4'8".
They warned me you were tiny. Everyone said, "Man, she's tiny." So there you go.
I met William Regal, and that guy's huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How tall is Regal?
I think he's like the same height as you. I think he's like 6'3". I didn't expect him to be that tall.
Some wrestlers will fool you because, on TV it's kind of hard to tell, and plus when they're all big anyway, and if you see one apart from other wrestlers, you're like, I had no idea it was that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's crazy. Well, we've got a lot to get into here today. So kids, if you're ready, let's get this thing cranking. Don't know if you guys have been watching wrestling lately, but something happened this past weekend, and we're going to talk about it because, we're here. We may as well talk about it. Faye, we had two massive returns to WWE, one a little bit more massive than the other. All due respect. All due respect. Exactly, R-Truth. He was just in the crowd. Did he even show up outside of the crowd? What happened with that?
I don't know. I wasn't watching Survivor Series myself, so I just sort of caught everything afterwards. But yeah, it was really funny that everybody took and ran with that when he came back as well. But he's just a lot of fun, isn't he?
Truth is a former world heavyweight champion, which no one ever gives him credit for that. Truth is smart. He's crazy talented. He's very good in the ring. In terms of character work, I can't put the guy over enough. He's fantastic. Yeah. And it looks like he's got a job for life. Good for him, man. I mean, you should be so lucky to have a job for life.
Hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, for sure. He's earned everything he's gotten. No doubt about it. But we had the return of Randy Orton, which we knew he was coming back, right? I don't think there was any danger of him ever leaving that company. He's a WWE guy from top to bottom. We'll start with Randy. What's your thoughts on the return of Randy Orton? How's the timing work for you? What do you think overall?
I'm thrilled that he's back. I really am. I was really worried that he wasn't gonna come back like in a wrestling front because of the injuries. I didn't realize he was cleared, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting him to be the fifth person. I was expecting it to be Punk. And then when they announced Randy, I was like, oh no, that's even better, because that was great, because I really love Randy. He's an incredible worker. And I was really hoping that when Cody came back, they'd have more involvement, and they sort of didn't, and then he got injured. So that just kind of went away. So I'm really glad he's back, and him and Cody can get back into it.
Yeah, I like Randy a lot. It feels like 100 years since I interviewed this guy, but he's like I said, he's a WWE lifer. I mean, you never say never, as we're about to discuss, but
yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Randy to one day go, I think I'm gonna do something different, because I think he's that kind of guy. Do I see him going anywhere else? Not especially, but you never know. I mean, how important, Faye, in your opinion, is it that they keep him happy? What do you think?
I think the running out of the old guard, what it feels like, I think, in terms of like from that era, they're running low on people that they can bring back for these big surprises further down the line. I'm not saying that now he's like, oh, he's on his last legs and that's it. He's only going to do 1 or 2 appearances.
Mm-hmm.
But you notice that every year when they have like these specials, these like special Raws or anniversaries, they can bring back less and less people, or they bring back people who, like Undertaker, where you just kind of wish that they'd let him go and live his life and not be dragging him in to the ring all the time. So I think it's good that they've got people like legacy people. That's the word. Yeah, I'm really pleased that he's back.
I am too, and I get the Undertaker comment as well. Like he's on socials now as himself, and he's not, he's not, like that. He's like totally just Mark, which is another problem in and of itself, right? But
yeah,
it is what it is. But I'm like, well, how long is he supposed to stay in character? I mean, did we all think he was really an undead mortician? I don't think so. So I like Randy a lot. Well, I mean, and excellent point about them bringing people back and they're running out, because they are indeed running out. I mean, that company, man, is just obsessed with going back to that the Attitude Era. I get it, but I also don't get it. You got so many talented people working right now, and
100%.
I don't know why we feel the need. Like, they keep going after guys my age, and I'm like, I don't really need that anymore. Like, I enjoyed the current product as much as I ever enjoyed anything older than that. Like, I don't know.
Shinsuke Nakamura's right there.
He's right there, and you still haven't put a world title on that guy.
Exactly.
I don't get it. And, that belt that Seth's carrying around, I know that the guy makes the belt, but like, what's that belt worth? Let's be honest. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole other debate by itself, but I'm glad to see Randy back. We'll see what he gets into, what kind of angles. I assume it'll be him and Cody, and then him and whoever. But the biggest news of the weekend, of course, is the return of CM Punk to WWE, which I went on the record a few weeks ago when the rumors started about he might be coming to WWE, coming back. I was on the record then as saying it's his life. If he wants to do it, if he's healthy, if they want him, go. There's no sense in that tribalism nonsense that everybody has to face every day with being a fan. Mm-hmm. If he wants to go, go. Having said all that, I am beyond surprised that people lost their effing minds. And as I told you before we went live today, he was just on TV. I don't know why I just don't get it. And to me, in my opinion, from where I'm sitting, those are people that are fan of a company. I guess it's okay. But I tend to be more of a fan of the talent and not the company itself. Like, yeah, because the company will screw with you and let you down and book weird stuff and fire people that you enjoy for no reason.
Exactly. Like, and the people,
yeah, you know what I mean?
You want to get a push, don't get the push. And, sometimes your favorites don't win when they should have. or when you think they should have, and half the time with WWE that is the case.
Yeah.
I think with Punk, the only sort of shock value that it gave me was that once because I was expecting it to be Punk for the fifth man, and then when it was Randy, I was like, oh, so it's not Punk. Okay, that's fine. I'm happy about that. Happy it's Randy. So then that was the only like sort of shock from it, I guess, that Punk came back, and it was like, oh, it was more like a, oh, okay then, rather than it being, oh my gosh. So yeah, you know, if it lights a fire under everybody, then it's good for everybody. But it's whether it lights the right fire and doesn't take the place with it.
Oh, and it doesn't go up like like a house of straw. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sandy, I appreciate you, my friend, but Punk was a huge star in AEW too. I'm not arguing with you. He is a huge star. 100% agreed. He was a huge star in the other company too. Faye, that's an interesting point. Is he a huge star, or now is he just a star because of where he's at? What's your take on that?
I think now with the level of how big you make like guys like Roman and Randy and Seth seem, you know, they were just like especially Roman and Seth, like it was Punk. They were there because of Punk, because of the Shield. Now they're like on his level. It makes him seem like not as like he's not like up in that echelon now. They're all on that same level.
Same level. I agree. Yeah.
And they didn't leave.
And not necessarily a bad thing. It's just we're keeping it in context. It's like if you're a superstar baseball player and you play for the Angels versus playing for the Yankees, because the Yankees typically tend to load up on superstar baseball players. So like you're still a big deal, but you're in there with all stars. Yeah.
Big fish with other big fish.
Yeah, exactly. Sugar Shane's got a good point about Seth's reaction. Faye, we all assume that Seth was selling that for the sake of selling it. We've not heard anything since then to lead me to believe that he wasn't selling it. What's your opinion?
I can't imagine. I wouldn't be shocked if Seth isn't the biggest fan of him. But also Seth's absolutely 1,000,000% professional and will turn anything into work if it makes money. He'll do what the company needs him to do because, like Randy, he's a company guy. As much as I would love to, like, my dream is to see Seth in other places. I would love to see Seth in AEW, but Seth is a company guy. I'm a realist, unfortunately. So yeah, but he's gonna sell it. That's gonna be an amazing feud. Like, there's no doubt about that. Riddle and Seth was great, and I'm not even a fan of Riddle at all. But I thought that feud was really entertaining. So yeah, I'm all for Seth and Punk 100%.
Seth, like any good pro, Seth makes the guys he works better.
Oh yeah,
you know,
100%.
I mean, that's a true test of a true professional. Is when the match is over, are you going, or are you going, man, that was, whew. And then
because Punk needs that because he's no spring chicken.
That's fair. And, you know, will his body hold up? Will his attitude hold up? I mean, we'll see. We'll see. That's all I got for folks. I don't know what else to say. We'll see what happens. I mean, you know, I hate things happen the way they did in AEW, but that's the past. It is what it is. This idea that Punk leaving is going to destroy that company is utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. Cody leaving didn't destroy the company. I mean, I don't see any of that stuff. I mean, Khan's done everything but hold a poster board above his head and told everybody that, you know, TV rights are going to be very lucrative for them, and all signs point to that. I think they're in fine shape. And
yeah, and I know the TV deals are a big thing because that's where the income comes from. But a lot of people always fail to mention how much AEW gets streamed, especially over here in the UK. We have the UK TV deal, which is why I think it's so popular in the UK because it's free TV. It's on free TV. not on cable. It's not hidden behind a paywall. Everyone gets it. But I personally watch it through Fight TV. Because it's ad free, we get picture in picture, that sort of thing. But I think with AEW, they never mentioned how much it's streamed, and I think that's a big portion of their viewership as well.
Yeah, I mean, when they first announced Wembley a year ago, Jay was like, "I don't know if you understand how big this is. We're going to sell this place out."
I've already
And I
got
was
my
like,
ticket.
yeah. And I was like, wow, you think so? He goes, oh man, it's going to sell out. He gave me all the reasons you just gave. And how fortuitous is it for them that they were on free TV where you are? Like, you know what I mean? Like, had they been behind a paywall, would they have built the fan following they've built in your country
They
now?
don't even put the pay-per-views behind paywalls. They put them on free TV in the UK as well.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's very cool. So yeah, to your point about what's going on with Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw, kids, is no longer going to be where it is right now. It's being shopped around. Supposedly Hunter and Nick Khan were in LA this week. They were not at Monday Night Raw in Nashville. And during most of the negotiation period, FX has been seen as the favorite to land the show. But supposedly Netflix, USA, Warner Brothers, Discover, WBD, which is another topic altogether, and Amazon Prime have all been talked about. I mean, they're going to talk and talk and talk. Does it? All right, so we're talking to American networks here, all right? But do you personally have a preference? In other words, do you have trouble getting any of these networks where you are? Would it affect your viewing? I mean...
Well, we have it on TNT over here, which again is behind the paywall. But if they were to, and I'm not condoning that anyone does this, but if they were to put it on Netflix, would I use a VPN to then watch it? Yeah, absolutely. If that could be more accessible to me without me having to pay an additional thing, and maybe would it make me consider keeping Netflix? Yeah, it probably would. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't go out of my way to watch WWE a lot. I'll watch the pay-per-views, but will I watch if it's on the TV? Absolutely, 100%. If it's more accessible to me, I probably will watch it more. So yeah, if Netflix or Prime or something like that were to buy it, yeah, I'd totally that'd be better for me personally if someone like that were to get that.
Well, this stuff about WB, kids, I mean, again, Tony Khan has all but said we're in good standing with WBD, and they want us, and we're all good. So this notion of WBD is going to end up with Raw, and I mean, I think we have to be intensely realistic here, Faye, about the possibility of that happening. Anything could happen, but I think that would be a massive conflict of interest for them to have both companies at the same time. Don't you think? I mean, my goodness.
It's a bit of a monopoly, isn't it? Like in terms of like that brand owning both. And it'd also make you concern, would there be arguments between both of them if someone's getting more ad time or a prime spot or something like that? Like it's more like whose interest you have better at heart from a business standpoint.
It's like two companies running a pro wrestling show together. One's going to one's going to edge the other one out. Shane, with a good point, WWE goes to a streaming service, it will lose fans. Not everyone has access to streaming services. I get what you're saying, but I mean, it's the future, man. It's the future. Like, it's already here. I mean, terrestrial TV is going by the wayside, as well it should.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, is there more people still with cable subscriptions than streaming services now?
I'd love to know the percentage. I've not looked that up. That'd be interesting to know.
Because
for sure.
I was thinking when they were selling it to Disney, I was like, well, that works out for me because I pay for Disney Plus. So if they were to put that on there, that'd be brilliant. But we still have the network over in the UK. We don't have Peacock.
Yeah,
we still have the WWE network.
Putting on Peacock over here ruined it for me. I've
heard that.
I watched the network for a lot of when I say old school, I'm talking about 80s NWA, Jim Crockett, World Championship Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling. We're talking about that's the stuff I grew up with and loved to watch, and it had it all. And then when they put it on Peacock, they gutted it, just eviscerated it. Like, yeah, the only reason, honestly, I use Peacock now to just watch regular shows, and I watch anything that company does. Just got so disappointed, you know. Everybody say hello to Marie from Peaches and Power Bombs, joining us here in the crowd today. Good to see you. Eric Jackson in the house. Sandy's asking, who is Seth losing the title to?
I would say Punk. I would 100% say they're going to throw that title on Punk. My only fear is that I think we'll get a good feud out of it. I think it'll be brilliant. As long as, you know, the egos don't get in the way. I was about to say as long as Punk doesn't let his ego get in the way, but I'm trying to be nice. But with that, my fear is not so much Seth losing the title. I think he should have lost it to Shin because I think Shin deserves it. But it's that I don't want Seth to then just drift into the ether again because that tends to happen.
It does tend to happen, and he's their guy. Seth is their guy. I mean, Roman's their guy, but first and foremost, but Seth has been carrying the torch, and he carries it on socials, and he's the first one to defend the company and speak up for the company and talk about the company. And, you know, boy, if anything were to go south, I'd be like, you know, Seth has had y'all's back for a long time. Yeah. Like, even through the worst moments, he's had y'all's back. Like, I'd want to keep Seth happy. I mean, I submit Seth's had a better year than Roman, I think.
Yeah, he has.
You know.
He deserves that because he had, I think he was losing, like, it felt like he was losing so many matches before he won that title. And I was like, oh, like, you need to break, if anything.
Yeah. Kevin asking if I remember the Black Saturday incident. Oh, it's infamous. WWF premiered on TBS in place. Yeah, that was infamous. That was Vince McMahon beginning on the very beginning stages of taking over the effing world. Chad says if it came down to you and Adam Cole, I would acknowledge. Because he was yeah, see, so this is Elvis, kids. Elvis gives me grief all the time. Talking about, see, he's not pushy at all. See that? I'll throw this to you, Faye. Shane's asking, how did you discover wrestling?
Oh, so my sister and brother watched it when it was like Undertaker, like 80s. I'm the youngest of four. So my brother and sister used to watch it when they were younger, and then my cousins and me watched it sort of like the beginning of the Attitude Era. That was when I was into it. Me and Jay, funnily enough, both went to the No Mercy pay-per-view in the 90s, but we didn't know each other. But that's a fun little fact. But yeah, I loved it all through my childhood. As I was saying to Tom before we got on the podcast, fell off it during like the sort of like end of the Attitude Era, like ruthless aggression type thing. So I missed out a big chunk of wrestling. And then when my son got into it, he's 13. A good few years ago now, about 5 years ago, it was like, oh, here's this thing you really loved, and then we both got into it, and now we watch it all the time together. It's really lovely.
That's awesome. I mean, a lot of stories about people growing up with this stuff and having family connections and bonding and things. I've got one too. I think that's one of the things that unites all of us for sure. Robbie with a fairly big one. Wrestlers and comebacks. Which wrestler, living or dead, had a storyline that was so ridiculous? Tom will agree that Dean Ambrose Spire has a storyline. To borrow your catchphrase, was hot garbage. I mean, look, John Moxley, the man now known as John Moxley, absolutely hated that. He was not a fan of it because it was dumb. Shocking thing, kids, that people were told to do something dumb in that company. So Faye, I'll hit you with one right now. Vince McMahon getting blown up in a car. What in the world?
That shocked me when I was a child. I went into school and talked about that with my friends. I was in like elementary school is what you call it in America, primary
Mhm.
school.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was really big shocker. Like, oh man, that
Absolutely
was fun.
horrible. Fun but
And
horrible.
again, there's so many in the Attitude Era, isn't there? Like
Oh,
when
they're
you
so
like
bad.
when you watch it now and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough ones for sure. Tough ones. So, frustrations in AEW. I feel the need to touch on this, not to bash anyone, but just to point it out. There have been people who have been not so quietly, maybe complaining is not the right word. Britt Baker recently on November 29th sent out a tweet. She said, tonight's AEW Dynamite MJF live promo 7 minutes, Christian Cage live promo time 10 minutes. All of 2023 Dynamite, Britt Baker live promo time 0 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
that is nuts to me. And Matt Hardy on his podcast, and if I say complain's a big word. He didn't even vent. He just mentioned, he hopes that he and Jeff are on the right track and that they want to do more. But he's a little frustrated. He didn't burn the company to the ground or anything. Faye, with a roster as big as they have, it's like trying to direct the Avengers film. Good luck. Any Avengers film, like you got a lot of characters to give screen time to and do them all justice. Are we seeing? Is it because of the size of the roster, or is it because they're just not being juggled correctly in the right places?
I think you've got to give some leeway for the size of the roster and to have that, but also I think sometimes stories can spin their wheels a bit too long in AEW sometimes. And I am not the person that usually criticizes AEW because I absolutely adore them. But I think a lot of we don't need like an Adam Cole FaceTime and Roddy Strong from home while he's injured. We don't need that. You can give that time to Britt Baker. You can give that time to the Hardy Boys. You could anything like that. Like there's just sometimes there's little pockets of time didn't need to be that, especially this Adam Cole and MJF thing. I think a lot of it with Adam being injured, I think a lot of it could have been wrapped up and then that time be allotted somewhere else. But that might just be me.
I can see that.
But I think as well, you could probably fit a promo in on Rampage too. As well, that I know Rampage is a lot of like just match, but I think there's time you can put it in.
Yeah, and look, they've got 6 hours a week of TV between Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision, right?
Yeah.
So why can't they insert promo here, insert superstar or star here? I mean, that's I don't know. It to me, and every time they sign someone, I will inevitably read, "Oh, they've got too many," and I'm always thinking, "Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about." Like, if I'm Khan, I sign as many people as possible, and I've been saying that for going on 4 years. Do I say it now? The reason I said it before was because, look, you can't have too many talents, in my opinion. You can't because, at any given time in the other company, it's like, who do they have right now? They have Roman. They have, we'll see what happens with Randy and Punk. But before that, they have Roman. They have Cody, Seth.
I think they get up stars in WWE a lot of the time.
And if one of their top guys goes down, Faye, there goes a crucial storyline, and no one else has been elevated to the point of fans caring about them that much. We don't have that problem in AEW.
No, not at all. And I think as well, I don't think it's a case of having the problem of them having too many people. But I think sometimes there are people, especially, and I know we hear this a lot, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think in the women's division, especially, there's a lot of men's tournaments. There's definitely never enough focus on the women's division in AEW. I think we could probably do with another tournament. for the women's. I think that would put people in the spotlight again, whether it be people you haven't seen at all or people that haven't been on screen. Like if Thunder Rosa were to come back, but then there were people like Britt who haven't had promo time at all and she's not injured, I think I'd be annoyed that Britt's not getting used, because I love Britt. And I know we've got everything with Toni Storm and she's fantastic and I love what she's doing. But would I like to see Britt and Toni Storm have a fight? Yeah. I mean, we've got Mariah May and I love Mariah May. I'm so thrilled she's here. But can we have Britt and Toni face off? That'd be good.
And I can tell you with 100% certainty, Britt is not the most well-loved talent behind the curtain. And that much I know for a fact. So, like, has that caught up to her? Has it? I don't know. I'm just speculating on that part of it. But, I mean, I don't know. But,
well, Ruby's getting more time now, isn't she? And
yeah.
I'm not sure if they see eye to eye much.
That's fair. Yeah.
Her and Britt would, since Soraya's come in. And I know her and Soraya seem to get on, but with the people surrounded by Soraya, do they not like Britain that suffered as a result?
It's an embarrassment of riches that they have so many talented women. And I think I'd much rather have the problem of where do we put people versus, God, we don't have anybody.
Yeah.
But that's plenty. Me. Yeah, they got plenty.
I am happy Emi Sakura has been having some banger matches, though. She's so good.
Yeah, I still don't get the fascination with Freddie Mercury thing, but that's me. I don't have to get it. No. Marie's got a point. WWE has a jacked roster now. They have Roman, Cody, Seth, Knight, Drew, Jey Uso, Sammy, etc. Guys, you're 100% right, and you know I don't argue for the sake of arguing, and I'm not exactly debating what you're saying. My point of this is, if Roman, for example, I'm not wishing on anybody. Let's say coming up, Roman and Cody both go down with 2 different injuries, 6 months. Who takes the ball? And I'm talking about, now it's different because now everyone's going to tell me, Tom, Randy, and Punk. Okay, cool. But before then, who takes the ball? Like in AEW, I can, off 2 hands, it'll take more than 2 hands, Faye, for me to tell you the number of people they could conceivably take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
Marie got a great point, but I'm saying, and it's not the guys, I'm not trying to bash anyone. It's not the guys I'm talking about. It's about how they are elevated, how they're pushed, how they're presented. We've said, Faye, for years that company has a wealth of talent, but at any given time, how much do the fans care about the B players when maybe they should, but they're not getting the amount of exposure they need?
Put that down. And Marie and Sandy are making some great choices here with LA Knight and Sandy saying AJ Styles and Nakamura. And I completely agree. But it's not the fact that they are that they're not there, that they're not at that level. WWE just seems to not want to pull the trigger fully on these guys. LA Knight, you know, they could have pulled the trigger on LA Knight. He's so over. They didn't. Nakamura, again, they didn't pull the trigger when they absolutely should have when he was facing Seth. Like, they just seemed so reluctant to let go of these big players. But the point is that you get more development out of your big players in defeat. Look at Hangman Page.
It's true. It's true. And for anybody, and no one's done it here, but for those people, Faye, who tell me, it's not the time, Tom. It's not the right time. You got to let this play out. Because there's bigger things later. Didn't we say that about Nakamura when he lost to AJ for the title at WrestleMania? That, you know what I mean? Oh, Tom, Tom's okay. Really? Because when's the last time Nakamura won a title? Oh, that's right, he hasn't. So, I mean, are we in 3 years from now, Faye, are we going to talk about LA Knight? Oh, Tom, just wait. You told me 3 years ago to wait. I'm still waiting. Do you see what I mean? Like,
And LA Knight is also no spring chicken in terms of what people deem as older wrestlers. I don't
Yeah.
agree with that sentiment because
I don't
they
either.
look great.
Mhm.
But a lot of people tend to see anyone past the age of 30 now and they're like, yeah, they're done. You know, it's their time, they're gone, whichever. But I think sometimes you just kind of have to push them into that light, into that position, and then see what they can do. Because I believe that LA Knight will be great.
Mhm.
We already know that Shinsuke is fantastic, and it's ridiculous that they haven't done anything with him.
It is. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and they had that weird thing going back to the AJ thing where they both delivered nut shots how many times in a row?
Yeah.
What are we
And that-
doing? Like, I don't know.
they're
I'm
capable
not.
of so much, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm not trying to get stuck in the past or anything. But look, the fact of the matter is this, kids, and I'll try to sum it up as best I can here. This idea of let's tie our wagons to this guy is a WWE trope that has existed since the 80s. It will always exist. It will never not exist. And for anyone that wants to defend that, that's fine. If that's your thing, that's fine. But no one can ever tell me, Tom, this works. You're right. It works short term, provided that dude is healthy, provided he doesn't need a break, provided he doesn't break something, provided he doesn't get arrested for failed drug test, right? I mean, you're right. It's great. But in the time they spend, Faye, vignettes, promos, magazine covers, you know,
What happened last week?
yeah, commercials, social media, you know, all that time. And there's 30 dudes who are like getting nothing. Like,
Yeah.
again, if that dude goes down, you're not ready. You're just not ready. I mean,
They could have
it
put
is
the
what it
trigger on
is.
Sami Zayn, and I will forever be mad about that because I think they should have then. I think that would have been amazing.
And Faye, there's a difference between I'm spent all day on this. I'm sorry, but there's a difference for me anyway between Roman hits that stage and it is clear he is the guy. Period.
Yeah.
Not because they told you he is, but because they have built this mystique and they've built this rich storyline that people have worshipped, and they should. It's effing the biggest thing they've had in years.
Yeah.
But it took a while to get there. When you don't do anything for anyone else to that degree, you're not ready when you need to be ready. Like,
Yeah.
oh, and people say, well, they don't do it in AEW. AEW doesn't book that way. AEW doesn't say, here's the guy, here's our one guy, he's all we got, go. It's not what right? They don't do that. So they don't need a backup plan. Like if MJF supposedly he's got a torn labrum, if he works this match and can't work again, how much time you got, kids? How many people can you name right now? God, we'll be up to number 15, right?
Yeah, even Samoa Joe, like you could put it on anyone. There's so many people you could put it on in AEW, and I love that about them. Because we all thought when Punk went, we were like, oh no, what are we gonna do? It was fine.
It was fine.
It was totally cool.
Yeah. There's a few more things I had on deck here, but before we open the floor, I got to talk about a couple of things. Number one, Christian Cage.
Father of the Year.
Father of the Year. Patriarchy. I mean, listen, Phil said this. Shout out to Phil Lindsay, kids. Phil said this about Christian, that he had a better year than Edge did.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I agree. I totally agree. He had a better year than Edge did. Like, I mean, this guy has found a way. He didn't find a way. He always had it, Faye. Yeah. He's always been this good. But the turtleneck and all that nonsense, and he just
so good.
So good. Oh my God.
It's like, and it's so funny because, you know, when he first joined AEW, it didn't click as much as it should have with me. I thought, I was like, oh, yeah, it's Christian. And I was happy for nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like, I was happy that he was there. I was like, this is great. You know, we got Christian, we got Matt Hardy. Now it's like, oh my God, Christian's coming out. What's he going to say? What's going to happen? It's brilliant. It's so funny. And I'm never not entertained.
It's
And
so
whenever
good.
you see someone new, you're like, I wonder if they have a father.
Because he said what he did to Edge in that promo Wednesday about
Oh.
your mother passed away and your father, and the crowd went, oh, oh no. And then he
Yeah.
didn't do it. He didn't do it.
Well, I said months, and me and Jay had said, like, when Nick Wayne signed, but obviously he wasn't old enough, we were like, and then Christian Cage started doing this. We were like, oh, he's going to see Nick Wayne and be like, oh, so I hear you also don't have a father.
It's so
So
bad.
good.
Listen, everybody. You can be upset because dudes say things that hurt your feelings or whatever. I guess if you still want to do that in 2023, I guess that's fine. None of this is real, okay? None of this is real. They look like real people. They're not real people. When they're on your TV, what you're seeing, for the most part, I'm hurt by words, then that's your problem, isn't it? Like, I don't know. It doesn't mean you should be mean to
AEW's
people, but
appeal.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
AEW's appeal, is that they can curse, they can bleed, they can do things that it's an alternative.
Hmm?
The product's an alternative, and it works. And when I explain AEW to people who used to watch it when I was younger in the Attitude Era, but they don't watch WWE because they're like, oh, well, it's a bit boring. You sell it to them, and you're like, well, AEW does this, it does that, there's swearing, there's blood, and then people get excited, people get interested. It's not polished, it's not perfect, and that's why a lot of people like it.
It's not overproduced.
Yeah, that as well.
That's important. To Ray's point about the F-bomb, so I'm sitting in my office today, right? And I'm catching up on stuff, and I had not caught that because I don't know what happened over there, but over here, the dude that's supposed to hit the button didn't hit it in time. So over here, Copeland says, by the way, go F yourself, not bleat at all, not censored. And I can picture the guy in the truck going, where's the button? Where's the button? And like looking for the button. You know what I mean?
Does it get bleeped over in the US?
It didn't get bleeped over here, no.
No,
Like,
but does it normally?
Yes, because they're on a delay. Most
so when
live
we
TVs
watch it
on a
on
delay.
Fight, there's no bleep at all.
No? Wow.
No.
So good. So good. They knew it was coming. I'm sure they're not going to go out and drop the F-bomb without telling Tony. So everyone knew. It's just the dudes in the truck going like this and going, oh God. And they're looking for the button.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's so good. And look, these guys, Faye, are getting to do what is not impossible in the other company, but a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this because I don't know, right? But I think it's a safe bet to say that Tony or whoever went to these two guys and said, what do you want to do? How do you want to do this? Just go. And they did.
Yeah.
And it's so compelling. In my opinion, it is. I love it.
I think it's fantastic. I would like to see it to end up them being in a tag team together again. I'd like Edge to turn heel. I don't want him as a face. I want him to be dragged down to this level that Christian's at the minute.
Really?
I don't want it to change. Yeah. It'd be so fun.
I don't know. I think Edge is as effective as a face as Christian is as a heel.
Oh yeah. I just mean like eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually I want this to be like, we're gonna be as bad as each other. We're gonna make each other worse.
Yeah. Marie says to a certain degree, Ric Flair shouldn't be inviting women 50 years younger than him to his hotel room in a promo. He's been doing it forever, and it was cringy when he was 30, but now he's 71, I think he is. Look, I'm not going to disagree with you. That's I grew up a fan of Jim Crockett Promotions. I was a Dusty and Horseman and Ric Flair guy for years, but I'm going to tell you, it's there's a lot. Rick's got a lot of baggage. You see, he came out on socials this week and flat out said that if he was too much of a disruption to Tony, that he would just not work for him.
Yeah, that's fine. You can go.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. I don't want him there. I don't think the company benefits
I don't
from
think they
having him
benefit.
there.
I don't think they
I
benefit
think,
at all.
yeah, I don't want him there. I think there's a lot. I'd rather Sting's last match be against Darby. I think that's what we all want, really.
Hmm.
I don't think Ric Flair needs to be there either. I just don't. I didn't even
Yeah.
like it when it was Triple Mania and he came out and attacked Kenny during his
Mm.
match with Andrade. I didn't even like that. Doesn't need
Yeah.
it. He can go away.
And
He's just so harmful.
he just doesn't get it. At this point, I think he believes he's done nothing wrong over the years. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, and you know what's funny is that other company would promote the fact that he would just take it out in front of women all the time. They had animated bits about it in WWE
I remember
where
that, yeah.
they thought it was funny. And at the time I'm like, you're telling people this is okay? Like,
Yeah.
this is not okay. Yeah. Oof.
It's not. He's not doing the company any favors.
No.
If you are progressive and you push women to be the best of what they are, then yeah.
So Robbie's with a great question here. Not sure if your accent is Scottish or Irish. I apologize for not knowing. I'm from Texas and will say wrestling has had cowboy wrestlers that kind of give the impression that all people in the South are toothless and educated hicks. So when Scottish or Irish stars, for instance, Sheamus comes out with a shillelagh or having a match with Jeff Hardy in a pub, do people where you live feel like they use those What a great question. Is that disrespectful to you where you are in the world?
Well, I'm from Liverpool in England, which, to be fair, we like to believe that we're really from Ireland, but we're not. But in terms of that, I don't think it's. I don't find. I can't speak on behalf of people from Ireland at all, but I don't think it's disrespectful. I think if you were to maybe stage it at like the bottom of a rainbow, that might be more worse. Like Hornswoggle's gimmick was like worse than the pub gimmick, I guess. I think the Jeff Hardy match in the pub wasn't great because of Jeff Hardy's issues. That was probably the worst part of that, not the fact that it was in a pub because of Sheamus.
And I'll say this, let me jump in. I in my opinion, you tell me if I'm wrong. If the character carries himself properly, I don't know if it's a problem, but it's when they tease and make fun of it and make it a joke that people would go, wait, are you like criticizing my culture? What are we doing here?
Yeah. Because Hangman, that's not a disrespectful cowboy gimmick.
True.
At all. It's badass. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's so good. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. But yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think. I think you can go wrong with it because obviously there's been some shocking gimmicks with Japanese wrestlers. They're trying so hard to make it seem that there's more to Japanese wrestlers in WWE than comedy wrestling. So yeah, I think as long as it's done with respect and tastefulness, I think you can lean into stereotypes as long as you're not making it a bad thing.
I think the stereotypes can't be. Is there a positive stereotype? That's a good question. I mean, you could really split hairs with that conversation if you wanted to.
I think it depends on, because like samurais and stuff like that for Japan, like people do karate. I don't think it's necessarily harmful, but yeah, I think it can be if it's done badly, and we've seen it done badly before.
Oh, sure.
I think you've just got to be tasteful about it.
Yeah.
Great
question, Robbie. Great question. And you don't know till you ask, so may as well ask, right? Shane says, have you all seen the new rumor about the devil in AEW? I hear people saying it's Sami Callihan. Look, I am not a Callihan fan. No disrespect to the guy.
Yeah, we've said this before.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It has its place, I guess. It's not with this guy. I'm just no disrespect to him. Go make your money.
Depends who he's facing. And he's doing a great job with Revolver as well. Revolver's so good. I'd like to see him maybe on some indies, like on GCW and stuff like that. That'd be fun.
Like, to your point earlier about what is Flair adding, I don't know if I've ever watched a show with Callahan and gone, that dude brought something. Yeah. But that's me. Other people love the guy, and it's all subjective anyway, so who cares? But Faye, here's one for you. Does AEW in 2023 going into 2024 need a Sami Callihan on live TV?
No. I think if there wasn't a Blackpool Combat Club, you'd need the Switchblades. But I don't think I would trade the Blackpool Combat Club or split the Blackpool Combat Club in any sort of way for the Switchblades. No. And I think that's the only way you're bringing in Sami Callihan, personally.
He and Mox are
bringing him for Mox.
Yeah, they're still very tight. Chad, you've mentioned Kyle several times, my friend. I got nothing for you on Kyle. I don't have any news. The devil.
I think that's. Do you think he's the devil?
It's not a bad call. Chad's a Kyle fan for sure, and we've discussed it here before. I love Kyle, but Kyle needs something, Faye. He's had nothing. Kyle is so good, but he's always been missing that. You have to have, well, you don't necessarily have to have, I mean, look at Shibata. Shibata's hook is he's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
That's his hook. That's his only hook. Plus, you get the impression Shibata's like a really good dude behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But have they humanized Shibata? No, because he's just a great wrestler. Doesn't mean he's
encrypted.
Yeah. They just haven't cracked the code yet, whatever that means. I don't think they've cracked the code with Kyle yet. Like, let's make him funny. Kyle's not funny. Kyle might be funny behind the curtain, but it doesn't translate, Faye. So
I think when it was Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, I thought they were a great tag team in AEW. Good night, Sandy. I think for this, I think you have him come back. I don't think he's the devil at all. But I'd like to see him come back and be a tag team with Adam. I think there's loads of tag teams that have potential in AEW, and I definitely think that's one of them.
I totally agree. Yeah. Well, kids, we're at the top of the hour, but we'll throw a few minutes out here for the open floor. This is wide open. Ray's always got a big honking question that usually involves Adam Cole and possibly potato salad. And
it sounds delightful.
It's always. There we go. All right, here we go. Rob Base or Cool Mo D? I have to go Rob Base myself. Part 2, Digital Underground or Lords of the Underground? Digital Underground for me. And if Adam Cole invited you and your family to a Christmas festival, which included Christmas lights, a concert by Boyz II Men, plus delicious hot pumpkin coffee, and a free 82-inch flat screen TV, and said you could bring a friend to enjoy all the goodies as well, could I join later? Wanted to get a dinner and have a grilled salmon and a delicious garden salad. Could I join as well? This is for both of you.
Yeah, you can come, Ray. That sounds like a fun evening.
Same.
Rumor is the Bucks going to build a new stable. I would like to see them back with Adam Cole if they're not gonna do the Elite getting back together right now. I think you could throw them in with the Devil gimmick. I don't see why not. I think that'd be fun.
Shane
I like
says,
the Bucks be mean.
Yeah, because they're better suited as that anyway, I think. Shane says, could you see the Dark Order as the henchman for whoever's the devil? I would say no, because they've already done that bit.
Yeah.
I love the Dark Order. I wish they'd be on TV more. Kevin says,
the Dark Order is a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
I know you've been watching that yet.
Oh yeah. Kevin says, I was reading on one of the wrestling dirt sheets that Bobby Lashley might replace the Street Profits with the what is it?
Pain?
Yeah.
I don't. You're
trading down.
I like the Street Profits.
Yeah, you're trading down if you. Yeah, why would you? Yeah, you're trading down. And I don't want the AOP to come beat me up, but I'm just, I don't want that because apparently they won't take care of me. They'll actually beat me up. So, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how many fans do you know that all their favorites are getting everything they want and they're happy all the time? There's always going to be somebody that's, there's guys I want to see on my TV and there's, but my quick answer to anybody that's not getting what they want from their wrestling, go watch other wrestling as well. It doesn't mean you got, right?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't mean you got to walk away from the company you enjoy, but there's other companies. Watch several. And I have
Ring
such
of
a
Honor, please.
yes. I have such a well-rounded experience of watching wrestling. Like, I don't really feel like I'm going, oh, but look, kids, if you only want to watch one company, I guess you can do that. But maybe don't be upset when stuff don't happen you don't like. Like, well,
Yeah.
okay. That's just me.
Yeah, exactly.
He says, Punk's first feud being back in, well, we assume it's Seth, right?
Seth or Bray or Dominic.
Or Dominic. Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He shared that picture of him squaring up to him as a kid on Instagram today.
I saw that,
I think he's gonna have a lot of fun what he does, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't gonna keep an eye on it, because I am. Absolutely, it's made me more intrigued as someone that doesn't watch the product all the time. So it's doing the job.
Yeah, I mean, again, I stand to gain nothing by him failing or succeeding. I gain nothing. So, I'm not going to wish ill will on the guy, but as I said before, I will do this as he does, and I will see if there's a moment in time when things don't go his way. How will he respond? What will he do? I don't have the answers to this. Robbie says, this is for you, Faye. Which female do you feel is elevating the level of wrestling to be equal to the men? Is this any company, Robbie? Or is this, let's say specifically in that company, maybe?
I think for WWE, it's Rhea Ripley, 100%. AEW, it's between Chris Statlander and Tony Storm. I think in terms of like athleticism, it's absolutely Chris Statlander. And then let's throw it over to Ring of Honor. Athena is doing the Lord's work and has been for the past 2 years.
Yep.
So yeah.
I agree with everything you said. Love it. Shane says we're talking about foolish wrestling gimmicks. We can't forget the Red Rooster Terry. Horrible. Horrible. Some of the worst stuff I've ever seen in my life. And I had a friend who defended that. Well, Tom, he's cocky. You get it? He's cocky, Tom. That's your defense? This is horrible. Terry Taylor was once upon a time, till he got older and got weird. Terry Taylor was the real deal. Like, very good in the ring. He and Chris Adams were a great little tag team. But, like, then he went to WWE because in that company, Vince made you into something you're not. And good luck if you can get it to fly, right? Kevin says, will LA Knight be the one to come out on SmackDown tonight and challenge Logan Paul for the U.S. Championship?
Logan Paul has made me disinterested in everything to do with the United States Championship.
Agreed.
Yeah. I hope he wins it off him. I hope anyone wins it off him. I don't want Logan Paul to hold a belt. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't like the guy at all.
Travis says they say the Mr. Perfect gimmick was originally intended for Terry Taylor. I don't know that I've heard that. I always assume because Kurt Hennig was such a natural, all-around, well-rounded athlete, because he was.
Yeah, that he was Mr. Perfect. That makes
sense.
Yeah,
yeah, but maybe, Travis, you could be right. Yeah, I don't. Oof, again, those old WWE gimmicks are just hot garbage.
Yeah.
Hot garbage. No one has a great place in their heart for the Goon. Okay.
No.
Or Doug, what is it? Duke Drozey, the dumpster. I'm the dumpster. I'm the dumpster. Really? You're the dumpster, are you?
It's like that in Always Sunny, where he's like, I'm the trash man. Same thing.
Yeah. Yes. The trash man. I'd rather have that. Give me that. Travis, this is not at you, my friend, but you can take 2/3 of what you hear on Something to Wrestle and not you. I'm saying what comes out of Bruce Pritchard's mouth. I just don't. I'm just saying that dude. Oof. And I listened for a long time to that show, and I'm like, yeah, nah. Fashion booger, yeah. Well, I'm glad we're ending the show on some horrible freaking gimmicks today. What a great way to end it. Terrible way to end it. So, all right. Well, kids, we're going to get out of here. We're at the top of the hour. We're going to get to our weekends here. Faye, before we go, remind the good people out there where you are and where they can find the UWP.
Yeah. So on Twitter, Twitch, and Discord, we are Untitled Wrestling Pod, Wrestling Pod. And then on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, we are Untitled Wrestling Podcast.
There you go.
And
there you go.
Then I have my own Twitter, Faye Wild Wolf, Fey Wild and Wolf. And that's my Twitter as well.
Faye's also in the Boink Studios Discord, which is quiet as a church most days because I don't have a lot of time to. And I keep encouraging people to join because I love it, but I need to try to dedicate more time to it. I've built it up pretty nicely, I think. There's a lot of channels in there. And
there's a nice lot of chatter, to be fair. Like, it's nice to throw thoughts out, and they tend to start up conversations, which is fun.
Yeah. So I like it. But Faye, thank you again for joining me here today. I appreciate it. We'll have you back real soon. We'll definitely have you on the 6M as well.
Yeah.
All right. Faye, don't go anywhere. I appreciate you. Thanks. All right, kids. That was Faye Divine joining us here today. We broke her in, man, because this was her first shot on the main event. Won't be her last. As long as she wants to come back, I'm happy to have her. Definitely have her on the 6M. Kids, before we get out of here, speaking of the 6M, BoinkStudios.com. See it below my name, Boink, B-O-I-N-K, BoinkStudios.com. You will find podcast links to the main event, Tom Clark 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. And by the way, you can also find links to Untitled Wrestling Podcast because those folks have co-hosted with me on my shows, so I've thrown them on my website. I'll have to add Faye to the mix now, too. You can go there and see their amazing faces and click their socials and go follow them wherever you want to follow them. So we appreciate your business, kids. Thank you so much. Keep your eyes open on BoinkStudios.com. I will be announcing in the next few days when you can expect to see us back here on the main event. It likely will not be a week from today. So just full transparency, kids, get ready. I'm probably going to have to move some things around. This is a good problem to have because your boy is moving on to bigger and better things in terms of work. So, going to be fun. I'm insanely excited to begin working next week. So, again, kids, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for supporting the shows. Thanks for being there. I'm going to start. You know what? I got a beverage here. I can't even get out the show without getting choked up. This is where I'm at in my life now. Can't talk without choking. Isn't that something? Don't anyone make any crude jokes. You're better than that. All right? I don't need that. I'm positivity here. Thanks again, kids, for hanging out. I'm going to get out of here before I say something else. We appreciate you. Have a great weekend, kids. Watch you some wrestling. And again, bookmark BoinkStudios.com. Check out the website, if you will, please and thank you. And share the shows on all your socials. Thanks much, kids. Have a great weekend. And we will see you soon. We'll see you around. Thanks much, kids. See you later.